What strikes you about this is the speed of the investigation appears to be record-breaking. We can't find a faster one, and the starkness of the verdict, very much at the toughest end you would ever get from an independent ethics advisor. And then the other thing that strikes you is the way Rishi Sunak dealt with it. There were none of the normal courtesies where you give a minister you're throwing out of the government the opportunity to write a letter of resignation, you keep your CV sweet, make your Wikipedia entry look better. None of that. Rishi Sunak very publicly told Nadhim Zahawi, told the world that he had sacked him. What they'll be hoping for in number 10 is the Prime Minister gets at least some credit for acting relatively fast on this. But what an awful lot of Tories are saying tonight is that the legacy of the nature of the Boris Johnson administration means there could be many other tests of Rishi Sunak along the lines of the one he's just been dealing with here, and he needs to speed up his act.
I'm delighted to be here both as your new Chancellor and I hope as your soon-to-be new Prime Minister.
Flying high 6 months ago, appointed as Chancellor by Boris Johnson and pushing himself as a candidate to succeed him. Nadhim Zahawi was today brought low and heard about it with a breakfast phone call from the Prime Minister. Rishi Sunak, after getting the report from his ethics advisor at 7 this morning, told Nadhim Zahawi he was sacking him and then put it in writing. It is clear, the Prime Minister wrote, there has been a serious breach of the Ministerial Code, and so I have decided to remove you from your position in His Majesty's government. Nadhim Zahawi replied, making no apology for his conduct, but saying he was concerned about the conduct of the press, the Fourth Estate. I fail to see how one headline he wrote on this issue, "The Noose Tightens," reflects legitimate scrutiny of public officials.
Strength is about standing by your principles, and the Prime Minister's principles are that you have a proper investigation when someone is, under criticism in this way. That seems to me to be the right, the strong, the appropriate response.
Despite the writing on the wall, the Prime Minister showed himself too weak to act. Rishi Sunak should have sacked Nadhim Zahawi a long time ago.
The ethics advisor lists 7 occasions when he believes the Ministerial Code was broken by Nadhim Zahawi, failing to be open about his dispute with HMRC. Sir Laurie Magnus reveals the HMRC investigation began in April 2021 and that Nadhim Zahawi was informed of this and even attended a face-to-face meeting with HMRC in June 2021. But Mr Zahawi repeatedly didn't share that information with departmental officials or Number 10 when he should have done, even failing to tell Boris Johnson when he made him Chancellor of the Exchequer. Sir Laurie doesn't buy Nadhim Zahawi's defence that he thought he was just dealing with a few queries, and that's why he denied press reports about an investigation.
So I was clearly being smeared. I was being told that the Serious Fraud Office, that the National Crime Agency, that HMRC are looking into me. I'm not aware of this.
Sir Laurie Magnus writes, an individual subject to the HMRC process faced by Mr Zahawi should have understood at the outset that they were under investigation by HMRC and that this was a serious matter.
It is pretty unequivocal. It's as strong a report as you're likely to get from an ethical advisor. It was done very quickly. We saw Boris Johnson sit on the ethics advisor's report into Priti Patel for a long time. And that report took quite a while to produce and took even longer to be published. No hanging about here.
But time was lost before Rishi Sunak called for an ethics investigation and was still defending Nadhim Zahawi.
The party chairman has been completely clear about this matter. He's addressed it and has also been clear that his tax affairs are up to date.
He was banged to rights on this right from the beginning, and he didn't, as Ed says, the government, this whole kind of Mr. Reasonable, Rishi Sunak, Mr. Reasonable, such a breath of fresh air after Liz Truss and then Boris Johnson before him. But you've got to be tough and ruthless as a Prime Minister. And at the moment, he is fighting for, his premiership to be a premiership where he can do things. And to do that, he has to clear these problems out the way.
And he's a good kid and he's done it.
A protege of Jeffrey Archer, Nadhim Zahawi was a man of boundless ambition.
I'm not backing anyone. I have to focus on the day job. I'm Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Liz Truss is the candidate that can unite the party.
Nadhim Zahawi will be remembered as a minister who played fast with the rules and as Rishi Sunak's first ministerial sacking, with no one sure how great that tally may become.